This episode is sponsored by
Playing with KidVid, an online connection for kids' videos and gaming.
Hi, I'm Christina, the creator and founder of Zemoff Entertainment. I hope you enjoy another episode of Health, Wealth, and Happiness. Cheers! Hi, I'm Christina, and welcome to this episode of Health, Wealth, and Happiness, Interviews to Inspire. Our next guest comes from the beautiful town of San Roque in the Philippines. Her environment impacts the ways she interacts with the world and champions for those less privileged. As the founder and CEO of Stratoppo Global, her consulting firm shapes partnerships across government agencies, private entities, and clients globally. Her resume includes working as a political staff officer in the Philippine Senate, and while living in Singapore, she was a bank executive and a financial consultant, and even published an award-winning magazine. Her schedule is never ending with her humanitarian projects that uplift the women, children, and the elderly. We are lucky to have this proud Filipino with us today. Let me introduce my friend, MaryJane.
Thank you for this kind invitation, Christina. It is my pleasure, and congratulations for this new venture of yours, Health, Wealth, and Happiness podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have you here with us today. Tell us a little bit more. I know you have a giant portfolio, but share with us a day in the life of MaryJane.
Well, again, you've mentioned I am the founder and CEO of Stratoppo Global. It is a consulting firm that provides customized solution to various engagements between government agencies, the Philippines and other government entities abroad, and also between clients, private clients from around the world. I'm doing so many things, but I cannot divulge as a social entrepreneur, which I would like you to call me, because I'm doing so many things, but I would like people to remember me as a social entrepreneur because I care about creating social impact. I'm also the founder and CEO of Universal Sports Promotions. This is a social enterprise that promotes, develops, supports various sporting events at the grassroots in far-flung communities. Again, I can go on and on, but I'm just trying to provide something that might interest your viewers from around the world. I know that your podcast is now taking off, and I'm really so proud to be part of this venture. So I just organized a women association, and it aims to empower women within and in the community through various interventions, such as providing them trainings, livelihood opportunity through science and technology. Again, it's not easy because when you talk about engaging the community, you are dealing with all sorts of challenges. If you want to get things done, you ask a woman. So this is the reason why, I am really trying to support and empower women. I picked San Roque, my town, my hometown, as my pilot area for this project.
So this should be interesting. MaryJane's health word is everything. Can you tell us more about what that means to you, everything as your health word?
That is my mantra. If I may share with you, health is everything. I always tell myself, I keep on telling myself this mantra in a quiet way, because I think when you say health is everything, it encapsulates everything from being, when you talk about wealth, when you talk about happiness, health is the first thing that will come to your mind. When you get sick, what will happen to you? When you don't take good care of yourself, what will happen to you? You might have everything. You might have You might be happy, you might be wealthy, but if you are not well, it will certainly affect you and the things that you will be doing. Because when you take care of yourself, you are also empowering yourself to live or lead a very secure life. Health is everything because it is the beginning of all the other things. When you talk about health, you have to also talk about its totality, and its holistic approach, like your emotional well-being, your mental well-being, your physical well-being. Everything must be interconnected. Everything must be well taken care of. Let us make health our top priority, because indeed health is everything.
Do you have personal daily practices or things for your motivation to take care of your own health?
Oh yeah, in my humble way, I exercise, I run whenever I have the time. That's for my physical health. And for my mental health, I talk to my friends, trusted friends, and I try to limit my interaction, with people when it comes to things that might affect my mental health. So I set boundaries. It's my way of protecting my mental health. For my emotional health, I am also very emotional. I think it's a good way of telling myself every single day that, hey, MaryJane, don't take things very personally. Then I get to protect my emotional health. So that's how I nurture my health in general on everyday, my everyday thing.
Yeah, you're speaking of qualities of a very empathetic person, which I do know that you are, in your care of other people. So it's easy to take those feelings on, whether they're yours or not. And I know from a health perspective, one of the things that you do is you do things for the elderly. Can you share more about some of those things?
Oh yeah, it's one of my advocacies. Thank you for mentioning that. And I am proud that 10 years ago when I came back, I used to live and work in Singapore a decade ago. When I came back, I made it like my mission in life to come up with initiatives for the elderly. One of the reasons why I stayed back, if I may mention this, in 2014, I came back as a humanitarian. I came back to the Philippines as a humanitarian. It was during the Typhoon Haiyan, the strongest typhoon ever recorded in mankind history, struck somewhere in Leyte. It's Eastern Visayas. It's one of the poorest regions in the Philippines, and also where my place is located. I tried to help in the emergency and rehabilitation response. I stayed there for a year. And then when I came back to San Roque after a year, I found out that my mother's eyesight, I don't know how to use a proper word for this, but she's about to get blind. And so I told myself that, since I'm doing something for the elderly, why not come up with a cataract operation mission for the elderly? We were able to help almost 500 elderly from the different towns of Northern Samar. It was the first, and I think the only one of its kind until now. Nobody can top that. And I'm so proud that out of my concern for my mother, I have extended that to other, elderly as well. It's one of the things that I've been doing for the elderly, this cataract operation, because, one eye will cost you around 50,000 pesos. It's very expensive. When you go to a normal doctor, have your eye, operated. But with this initiative that I have done, I have partnered with the government, with PhilHealth and with the Philippine Army and this private doctor and his clinic for this endeavor for this project. And so the elderly, they were happy because they did not pay anything. It's all for free. Up to now, I could still see, the recipients, and they're so happy to see me. And some of them would call me doctora. Doctora is doctor in the Philippines. And I would tell them, no, I'm not a doctor. Because, the moment they opened their eyes, they were like so happy that finally they were able to have their eyesight back. Those are, priceless moments for me, Christina. When you walk the talk and talk the walk, it is something. And I always say that, when you say that you will do something, it's not just on papers. You have to do it. You have to execute it. You have to, at some point, do it. You just don't say it. You have to do it. So again, it's normal to provide assistance to the elderly because they're the most vulnerable in the community. I can go on, and I will eat up your time by telling you about all my projects, especially with the elderly, because when I grow old, I would like, I would like not them, but their granddaughters, their grandsons to also, it's like the law of karma. So I'm doing this for the next generation. I'm doing this, not for myself, but I'm doing this for the community and for others to follow, for others to be inspired as well.
Now, I can really appreciate your work with the elderly. I worked with the elderly myself, not in so much of that, but more of a happiness, health, and teaching them for about 10 years. So I can understand what you're saying in the you give it now so it will come back to you when it's your time from others. You also worked with children and their health too. You've done a surgery, set up a surgery for children. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh yeah, yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, this was like last year, I think, if I could still remember. There was this I cannot mention the name of the clinic, but it's one of the top clinics in the Philippines. They're into dermatology kind of thing. Yes, they sponsored this mission in Northern Samar for that cleft surgery. I was able to send one from San Roque. It was successful. The boy is handsome, young man. Now he is very happy because just imagine, the transformation. It is something that I am happy to do for other people, for this one young man. We'll never know. He might be somebody someday. And he was telling me, because when I asked him if he's happy, and he said, oh, I'm so happy because now nobody would bully me in school again because of the transformation. And indeed, I could see from the photo, the original photo, and, when I saw him prior to the surgery and after, I am also happy myself. So again, the initiatives that I'm doing, I'm not doing those initiatives alone, but I'm collaborating. The power of collaboration, the power of connection. I'm lending my connection. I'm lending my voice to the voiceless. I'm lending my ideas, for other people to pick up and make it their own. And I am just there to make sure that in the implementation, I will be there to to support and monitor and make sure that it will really redound to the benefit of those who are targeted by whatever initiatives. So for this one, I am just happy that I was picked, to collaborate with them. I have other things, other projects for the kids, but it was done successfully.
Now, do you have advice for others who are looking to do or champion for health of other people, and what kind of challenges that you might face that you might advise? How can you work through those? Because I know it's not always easy to set up all of these people together and get it going. So what can you tell us in your words?
Oh, based on my experience, again, I will be talking about my own experience. It is not easy all the time, but If you are persistent, you have this passion to do things for other people, nobody can stop you. You just have to be very consistent. You just have to work hard. You just have to, monitor everything from day one until the end, and make sure that you are dealing with the right people. You are collaborating with the right people, because along the way there would be chaos and sabotaging, I would say, but it's part and parcel of life, and that's what makes me want to do more. When I see that somebody is sabotaging somebody's work for other people, and for me, that is not acceptable. So I will keep on pushing. So my advice to people who are doing the same, please stand your ground. Please don't lose hope. Please move forward. Please keep on believing in what you are doing, especially if it's for the good of the community, especially if it's for the good of other people. Don't stop. Don't stop. Because if you stop, then that's the end, But if you will keep on doing things, if you will keep on moving forward, nothing is impossible.
MaryJane's next word is courage. That is her definition of wealth. Can you tell us more about courage as your wealth word?
Again, you are making it difficult for me, Christina, to provide you with information about your topics: health, wealth, and happiness. These three are very important, I should say. And my word is courage. Yes, courage is actually the backbone of wealth, in as far as I'm concerned. I started talking about my time in Singapore a while ago. I was there a decade ago, working and living in this first world country. I had access to everything, not because it was just luck for me, but because I worked hard, because of my qualification, my desire, and my ambition. So when you talk about material wealth, I had those things. I can say with all humility that I'm thankful for that time that I was there, because it opened my eyes to material wealth. It is just for me a tool. It is just for me a means to an end, to do something more important, to do something with more substance. And when I came back 10 years after to the Philippines, I had that courage to leave behind, this material wealth for something greater than myself, for something that will make me happy. And that's the reason why I'm telling you that courage is just so important when you talk about wealth. The courage to pursue one's passion, to advocate one's values, and just do the things that will, makes you happy. I'm talking about real wealth here. I'm not talking about the wealth that is being, again, it's a mindset. It's a mindset. That's my mindset. And courage is the central focus of my definition of wealth. I'm wealthy because I have the courage. And I will share this with you, having been through a lot, living in the Philippines for 10 years now. I've been through a lot with all the trials and tribulation, and it's very public. I've tried and lost and picked up myself again. Courage taught me that sometimes standing against evil is more important than defeating evil itself. I am wealthy because I have that courage. I'm wealthy because I have that inner strength, just that feeling of contentment, that happiness that I've done something for others. I am wealthy because I am able to take risks that maybe other people won't be able to do so. I am wealthy because I know that material possession is just temporary, that there is more to it. So courage is something that I hold dear in my heart when you talk about wealth. Courage is wealth, and it's really a mindset. It's how I connect courage well.
How do you measure your courage? Like, what things and times have you found, I could bring a little bit more of this to the table with myself? How do you measure that in your life and your experiences?
Whenever I'm presented with something, I always embrace it. I own it. I take ownership. It boils down to purpose. When you have your purpose, when you have that North Star, you will always find that courage to do something right. It is not easy because courage is not the absence of fear. It's fear is always there, but your ability to conquer it is what makes you courageous. And I believe when Aristotle once said that courage is the first of all virtues, because without courage you can do anything. But of course, we have to have the attributes of courage. You must have this physical courage, you must have your emotional courage, you must have your mental courage, your intellectual courage, your spiritual courage, and so on and so forth. It's all about looking inside yourself. You must have that brave heart. Courage is not just about being physical. It's really has purpose for others and for the community. So my advice to everyone is, you must know your purpose. You must know the reason why you're doing things. Then it is easier for you to find that courage within you to fight for it, to pursue it, and to achieve it.
So you deal with lots of different types of people when it comes to wealth. You have dealt with people who are extremely poor to people who are extremely rich. How do you think they can find a balance of their own well-being in that, not worrying about wealth so much as financial, but more as you can be courageous in your situation? Because it doesn't matter whether you're rich or you're poor, everybody's got problems.
I was looking into the wealthiest women, the granddaughter of the owner of L'Oreal. She's the richest woman with almost $100 billion. I'm comparing, with the former wife of Mr. Bezos and her. She, until today, I think nobody got to interview this person. And she's almost 70 years old. This lady, the ex of Mr. Bezos, Jeff Bezos, she participated in, so many public speaking engagements because she is giving back to the community. She is giving away her wealth. I think the balance is really depending on the person's interest, because that lady, that French woman, she doesn't care about what other people will say about her. She's more reclusive, but she is still giving away. She's still supporting, so many foundations, so many initiatives, for society, for the social good. But maybe she's happy being alone. She's happy being, she would play the piano for like hours every single day. And she's happy doing that, away from the limelight. And the other lady is more engaged, with the people around her. To sum up it all, I think it would depend on your purpose, on your personality, on your character. Obviously, we all have problems to solve when we are back home. When you're alone, you get to think of your problems, and when you are with people, you get to forget. It's like your scapegoat.
So as a consultant, how do you encourage people to have courage who are in different phases of their business life?
Oh, that's a tough question. You have to pay me for that.
No trade
No,
secrets.
yeah, I think, again, we're living in a very extraordinary time right now. And as you know, the economy is affected by so many other factors. It's being affected by political, geopolitical activities, even your election in the US now. It's very expensive, becoming more expensive. For us, entrepreneurs, for business owners, I think we have to be courageous enough to play with what is being presented to us. You have to take the risk. There is no other way. Taking risk is a good thing because life is a risk anyway. If you don't, then you will lose. So might as well take the risk, calculated risk. I always qualify that risk by saying it should be calculated risk. Go with the flow, without sacrificing our principles. As business people, we have to be aware of what's happening. We have to be aware of current events because in one way or the other, it would affect how we navigate, what is in front of us. We have to be flexible. We have to be creative. We should not be afraid to get out of our comfort zone and be courageous. Get out there, talk to people, network with people, and make friends with them, ask for help, collaborate. Those are my magic words because I don't say things without doing them. When I say I collaborate, I really collaborate with people. And I'm not ashamed to say that, hey, I think we can do something together. Let us do something together. And my advice as a consultant to every single, business owner around the world, just do something. Move forward. There's time again to grieve, time to be on the ground, time to rise up. Those things, very important things. We need to experience those things in order for us to get better. Again, every day, as I have my podcast, I would always say every day is a new day. Every day is an opportunity. Every day is a blessing for us to get better, for us to do something better, for us to achieve more and do more. Let us be courageous.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Torstein. On Health, Wealth, and Happiness. Stopping to smell the roses. Well, they're not roses, but, the pretty little flower and the quite fragrant out here. But you've got to stop. You got to enjoy your life. You got to smell the flowers of whatever kind of nature they are and watch out for the bees because they'll sting you. Just run really fast. And love life because this is your life to love. Those are the wise words from me, Sylvia. So have some happiness today in your journey, and there's a bee. I like this word choice. MaryJane's word for happiness is service. Tell us a little bit more about that definition.
Service to humanity is the best work of life. And as I always say, and I'm living my life, practicing this, that service is a profound catalyst for happiness. It is like just like gratitude. Both are precursor to happiness. When you dedicate yourself to serving others, you get that fulfillment. It is something that makes me alive. It is something that makes me want to live for the next 100 years. That's how I connect service to happiness. Again, I like this podcast because you correctly put things together. Wealth is second. First is health. Health is my top priority. And then wealth, because now if I'm healthy, I will be courageous enough to withstand the rigors of all the challenges, of all the trials and tribulations, of all the setbacks. So I will now be able to transform this into something for financial gains. And now we're talking about happiness. So when you have this, then you can now serve other people. You will now have this resources, the ability to share something with others. It is easier said than done, but as I say this to you, as I tell your audience from around the world, that the more you give, the more that you will receive in return. To summarize, service and in relation to happiness.
I like your word fulfillment. I think that is a beautiful word to kind of sum up that feeling. It's a feeling, so it is hard to really put a finger on and describe. But when did you realize, was there some event that you realized that, wow, this feeling, this fulfillment I'm getting out of providing service, being of service to others? Was there a moment that really stood out to you that kind of brought you down the path?
I always feel that I have this moral obligation. I always feel that I have this responsibility, to give back to the community. That altruistic desire for me to pay it forward. I am so blessed. I can tell you that I'm so blessed. I'm so fortunate in my life. And when I see somebody who doesn't have the opportunity, who doesn't have a platform, I always step back and try to see what I can do, because I've been there, done things, and everything is easy for me because I also work hard. That word working hard and that ambition, that drive, that passion, all the things that I'm doing. And I'm fortunate that I can pick the things that I like to do. Earlier, in my life, I always have this, I want to do this. I don't want to do this. I want to do this. And, I have that flexibility. Every time I get to see if there is a social impact to it. If not, I don't do it. So one thing to convince me to do something, show me what it can do for other people. Then I'll do it for free. So some of my friends would take advantage of that thing with me because it's just my way of giving back to the community, and I feel good about it. That fulfillment, I couldn't explain. It is something that is within me, but I can only, maybe you can tell from the way I do things because my activity yesterday, I'm now ready for the next one. I keep on creating, I keep on moving forward, I keep on doing things because every time I see a face smiling, saying that he's happy, then it is my signal, for me to do another one again. So, and I am unstoppable. So I'm telling you, nobody can stop me. I will still be doing the things. It's just my way of life. It's a lifestyle. For me, helping people is a lifestyle. It's not just an occasional thing. I've been doing this all my life. It's natural to me. So if you want to follow me, you have to, it would be very, very hard for you to follow my footsteps. So you have to enroll in my master class. I'm just kidding.
How to stay awake 20 hours a day, have work around the world, and have time for everything that you want to do. See this masterclass by MaryJane Salomon. So you're an amazing woman, MaryJane. Let's just face it, okay?
Thank you.
You are welcome. You are welcome. How do you balance? How do you balance all the time that you give in service? I mean, honestly, just how do you do it? And if you had to give advice to somebody else who is looking to put in the time, which I know no one can put in the time that you do and all the things you do, what can you say to having your personal happiness and balance and the time that you're giving in your happiness and service?
There's only one MaryJane in the world, but I can share with you some, tidbits. Well, for me, it's easier because I'm single. Single, available, negotiable, but not affordable. And I mean it. So it is easier for me to focus on my task, the everyday tasks that I'm doing. I just don't complain. I don't like people complaining, the whiners. I don't like those people. I just do the things, when something gets so rough and tough, I would just call somebody, a friend who can, you know, advise me on what to do. But after that, I'm on track again. So I think because I'm also a hardworking person, hard work is really the big bulk of everything for me. That discipline, I'm very disciplined when it comes to my events. And I monitor. I always think that, something will go wrong. So I have my plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. So if this one will not work, I will always have, okay, next plan B, next plan C, next plan D. So I keep on, it's like I curate everything. That's the word, curation. I curate. I love curating things, making something out of nothing, from nothing. I like that. I don't want to say that there is a need for me to prove something, because I don't need to. I'm not doing this for other people, but I keep on competing with myself. So every single day I would compete with myself. Like when I wake up, like, oh, I have so many things to do now. I love procrastinating as well. Sometimes I don't want to do anything. I just would like to go and check, my social media accounts, and doing nothing. I love it when you do nothing. But at the end of the day, even if I'm doing nothing, I can still be productive. So I don't know why. And I think because I have a system and I keep on following that system. Again, discipline is very important. Hard work is very important. Purpose is the most important thing. You must have purpose. Otherwise, you will just keep on, beating around the bush. So for me, my purpose in life is to be of use to others. And if I'll be able to gain something, which of course we have to earn something in order for us, to keep living, in order for us to keep helping people, then good. But I'm fortunate that, I can, I don't look for material possession. I'm more into achieving things. So that's the difference. When I achieve things, I'm happy. When I can help people, I'm happy. So that's happiness to me. Participating, I'm participating in this podcast is happiness to me, because this is service. I can share something with the world. They may not know me as MaryJane, but now they will know me because of this podcast. So thanks to you, Christina, for this kind invitation.
Well, and thank you for your service and your time in joining us. MaryJane, if you could give the gift of health, wealth, or happiness, which would it be and why?
You are making things difficult for me, Christina. I have to say this. I'm scratching my head. Anyway, okay, for health, I would give it to my mother. She's 87. Still, I'd like her to live 100 years. It's not easy to be with my mother. And I've been with her for, 10 years now, on and off. But I am happy that I made the right decision to stay back in the Philippines, taking care. And I'm not really the typical caretaker. I am useful in other ways, and sometimes not useful in some ways. So, but I am glad and I am proud that I'm able to do this for her, so that I can monitor her. I'm always around when she needs me. Sometimes she doesn't need me at all because she has her own way of doing things. But whenever I'm here, I know that she is aware of what I can do. I am pleased that I'm able to do that. So I'm going to give this gift to her in order for her to live until 100 years. Oh, for wealth, I'll give this to people who are in need, those people who are voiceless, people who are powerless, people who are not seen. I'd like to give them this courage to empower themselves, because they have to help themselves. So when you have that courage to accept that there is something lacking and you decide to work on that, then that becomes your wealth, because it becomes you, it becomes your possession. That courage to stand up, that courage to learn more, that courage to improve, that courage to look beyond the surface, those things. So I'm giving this to anyone, be it a person in a far-flung community or a person in Manila who is in need of empowerment. That courage to accept yourself, that courage to do something about it, that courage to take action. It's very important. Taking action is very important for happiness. Oh, I'd like people to be happy. Like you mentioned a while ago, I've been with those who are really, ultra rich, and those who are less fortunate. People are happy because they cannot be measured by money. Happiness is an inner thing. It is something that only you can feel. All these things are subjective. Health is subjective, wealth is subjective, and happiness is subjective. But at the end of the day, it boils down to being yourself. If you are being yourself, if you know yourself, everything will be easy for you. And if you're surrounded by people who are supportive, people who are also reading the same book with you, people who are there to support you all the way, then health, wealth, and happiness will be easy for you to achieve.
We have a question from our previous guest, and I think, MaryJane, you're going to like this question.
How would you encourage inclusion for women this year?
Oh, that's a very timely question. And I think it's a good thing that your last guest have thought about this. Inclusion has always been a hot topic for men and women around the world. Since time immemorial, women, we have been fighting, pursuing inclusion. Paris Olympics will be this year. They have announced officially that they're going to have a 50-50 ratio for men and women who will be participating in the Olympics. So that's inclusion for women. How would I encourage? We have to participate in the decision making. We have to participate in making sure that our voice will be heard. But more importantly, we have to lead the movement. We should not be afraid to set up a company founded by a woman. We should not be afraid to ask somebody if you can join a company that's led by a man, and you can co-found the company. We should be more forward thinking about doing things in order for us to be able to push for our agenda. And we can only do it if we can capacitate women, if we can train them, if we can provide access to education, if we can empower women, if we can make them realize that there is more to being a woman, that being a woman is actually an advantage, that feminine advantage. We can only do that if empowered women will also empower other women. And it's the only way. There is no other way. So we have to keep on supporting women. We need to continue promoting, celebrating the success of other women. I said yes when you invited me to participate in this podcast because you yourself, you are supporting, you are celebrating women in this podcast. And this is the way forward. This is how we can encourage inclusion. I think that this is a very good definition. When you are invited to attend an activity or an event, that is diversity. But when you are invited to speak in that activity, that is inclusion. So diversity versus inclusion, the first one is you are given the platform. The second one is it is very specific. You are being included because having a platform is just a platform. So when you are not invited, you can still invite yourself. If you're not given a seat in the table, you can bring your own seat. You can also have your own table. You can create your own event. So what I'm saying is simple. Let us be proactive. Let us be proactive. Let us participate. Let's get involved. Let us not be afraid. Let's be more assertive in making sure that our voice will be heard, that our ideas will be considered. That's inclusion when people notice you because you are doing something good. That's inclusion. Because some people, if you're a woman, even if you're doing something good, they won't include you because you're a woman. So let us turn the page. Let us make them say that, oh, let's include her because she's a woman. She can bring something to the table. She can do much better. She's creative. She's good. She has innovative ideas. So let us be creative in making sure that we will be included in every seat, in every table, in every activity, in every project. Let's be proactive.
MaryJane, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on this episode, and I do hope to see you again soon.
You're welcome. My pleasure. And thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this invitation. Again, congratulations on this new venture of yours, Health, Wealth, and Happiness by Christina.
Thank you. This has definitely been an interview to inspire.
Thank you.